Okay guys, so what I want to talk about are some principles that you can keep in mind in terms of how to be a good training partner here, right? And so I'm going to use some sayings that we get, some quotes we get from our good friends at MKG that I think are really great principles to maintain all the time. And at the top of the list though is my main principle. When thinking about training, the first thing that I look at anyways is the person being unsafe, right? Are they being unsafe to themselves or to their partner? So that's the overlying principle, right? If someone's just going at a reckless abandon and they seem to have no concern about anyone's safety, that's a thing that we have to nip in the bud right away. But the first main principle I want you to think about is the saying, train with your partner, not on them, right? So it's quite a difference, right? It's if I train on somebody, that means that I'm just exerting myself, I'm just imposing myself onto this person regardless of their level, their comfort level, their skill level, right? That's not what we want to do, especially in our general classes. We're there to bring each other up, right? The quicker we can make somebody confident, like a brand new person, for instance, the quicker we can make them a confident training partner, the sooner we have a competent training partner for us to work with. So that means that, I want to make sure that they look comfortable as much as possible and slowly build them up. Right? So if you take pad holding, for example, that's a very intimidating thing for a lot of people, hard to do. It's a high skill level thing. So we want to start when we're hitting with somebody slow and build them up to more and more power, right? And let them experience that. But we don't want to just start bashing away unconcerned about what their comfort level is. Otherwise, again, we stunt that person's growth. And this goes again with sparring, with rolling, with stick work, anything we're doing, we're training with each other, even in sparring. Sparring is not fighting, okay? Fighting is we go and fight, we go try to win. We try to impose ourselves on that opponent and win the fight, okay? But when we're sparring or when we're rolling, we want to be competitive, we want to challenge the person, but we want to maintain a certain level that is equal, that person can kind of stay with us. So, maybe stay a little bit above them, but it's never really beneficial to just smear somebody. Well, I shouldn't say never, but generally speaking, again, we want to build people up, build up their skill level. So if people are constantly cowering when you're sparring with them, they're going to have a hard time becoming a good training part for you down the future. So maintain that one principle, train with your partner, not on them. Okay, second principle is called don't be a hero, don't be a wimp. Now this goes with communication with your partner. So again, if you're working with someone and they're hitting too hard, if they're being unsafe, if they're not focused on form and what they're supposed to be doing, but they're just going reckless abandon and going crazy, that's an obvious red flag that we need to stop right away. And hopefully the instructor will see that right away and calm them down. But it's not always as apparent for the instructors. So you want to be communicating with your partner. Are they hitting too hard for you, for the general class, right? Some people can, again, really go, and that's what we want when we switch partners. If we got two high level athletes or two people that can work at a really high level, then we want to let them go at that level. But sometimes if you switch with somebody, they can't handle your power, right? And again, you need to be, you need to have a realistic sense of where you're at and where you're comfortable. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, your power is awesome, but can you tone it down a little bit? I'm trying to get this pad hold, or I can't handle, your kicks or whatever it is. There's no shame in that. It's actually very important that you maintain that, because you don't want to walk out of here injured for sure, or more hurt than you need to be. So keep that communication line open, but try to stay, in that don't be a hero, don't be a wimp parameter. Okay, third principle is how you work with your partner, back to the communication aspect, but don't overcoach your partner. This is kind of more of an experienced person that's been around for a while, and now you got somebody brand new in front of you. You can overwhelm somebody with way too much information. So be mindful of how you work with a new person, how you communicate with them, how you correct them. If they're in the general ballpark of what we're doing, and they're not being unsafe to themselves or you, then let them kind of go and keep doing it. That's kind of our method, is to do it. You need to do something over and over again, and then you start chipping away at the form and start to perfect it over time, not try to perfect it on day one. That just doesn't work for 99% of the population. You can't get it that way. So again, if they're not being overly dangerous, or dangerous at all, I should say, but if they're generally doing the right thing, then let them do it and give them one thing at a time to do, right? If they're holding the pads in the general area, hit the pads and let them kind of, sort it out little bit at a time. Don't give them the whole enchilada all at once, right? Otherwise you overwhelm them. Again, our focus, our priority is to build up confident training partners, right? So build them up, right? Build them up slower. Same thing with your hitting. If you want to hit harder, if they want you to hit harder, that just gets back to point 2 of communication. Then let each other know. So if you're holding pads and they can go harder, say you can go harder, let them know. Like, work with each other. That's key to us creating a great training environment. All right, guys, so I hope this helps. Keep these things in mind when training. Is, of course, always ask me if you have questions, because there's a lot of gray area when it comes to training with each other and training in martial arts. And a lot of times I think people think they need things to be super hard, and there are places that do it that way, and that's their way of doing it, and that's fine. And we're kind of like to be in the middle, right? We do a lot of very pragmatic stuff here, very dangerous stuff, real combative stuff, but we have to train it safely, in my opinion, and again, try to build everybody up as much as possible. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.